When involving the audience, instead of going up and down one row and back down the other, I bounce around the room and asking questions and getting people involved in any discussion. As a safety speaker, that's a great way to keep your audience involved.
By going around the room, I did something very unique. So I asked Mike first, now, you guys are used to, how many times are you in a room where people have done something like this, and they say, okay, Mike, tell us who you're with, what company, and what you came for today, or whatever it is, right? Your favorite thing, your favorite, animal, who knows what. And then what do? They jump to Linda. Then they go to Linda. Well, you got two in a row. Linda squared over here. Then we go to Adriana. But you go down the row, what happens? The people in the back, by the way, immediately are going, great. By the time we get to us, every good possible reason that you came to the meeting is already going to be said, right? And if, by the way, if it's a brainstorming session where you're asking people for ideas or something, the people in the back, by the time you get to them, they're like, oh great, every good idea is taken. I'm going to be standing here going, oh, what he said, right? So what do? They tune out. Likewise, Mike, once he said his thing, he's kind of like tuning out of the thing. And then there's also, it's very boring. So what I did was I started bouncing around the room. Now, I could stop right now and not ask anybody else what they wanted to get out of today. And if I've got a room with, out a room with several hundred employees, and I'm talking about safety, there's one of my talks is called Ensure Your Safety. And when I do that talk, I start out by saying, why is safety important to you? Now, I'm not going to take the time to ask 300 people. I wouldn't be able to speak by the end of the thing. I'll bounce around the room and ask 2 or 3 people. I never wait for people to raise their hand, ever. But I always ask a question that anyone can answer. What do you want to get out of today? That's simple, right? I mean, there's no wrong answer to that. One guy one time, I came to get donuts. They had donuts there. He was happy. I'm done, right? Yeah, so, and we've made it for the day. If you came for the donuts, forget it. But anyway, so by bouncing around the room, when I'm not going to do the whole crowd, what it does is I've automatically gotten audience involvement. As a safety speaker, I now have audience involvement. Why? Because when I asked Mike, and then I jumped over to Kathy, right? And I jumped to Kathy, at that point, those of you that are used to people going up and down the road, your brain went, oh my goodness, this fool doesn't know they go up and down the road. He could call on me next, which meant what? You had to think of an answer. And even though I've got 300 people in the room, and I'm not going to call on everybody, I now have 300 people thinking of an answer just in case they're called on next. And I've now involved, what, 300 people, and I maybe only call them 5. And it involves more people, and it gets them engaged because they don't know whether or not I'm going to call